where I cannot believe this video pulled me out of the retirement. Let's play it on. It's been a while since I've done any video like on YouTube. I watched that video from Brandon Tan. I don't remember. You know, I've been watching this video like halfway. I decided I'm gonna make a video about it because some parts that I saw at first, I don't really agree with them. Simple critique of the video and I guess sharing opinion on current state of Pokemon Go and Niantic's decisions. I'm gonna critique a little bit. I'm gonna make some statements, some opinions, I guess. I'll see how it's gonna end up. Also, that's why I'm making this video, because since the update came out, the nerf actually, it's been really hard to do any raid in my local area. But I'll just get into it as we watch the video from Brandon Tan. By the way, shout out to Brandon Tan. He creates great content and all of that. I'm just sharing my opinion. Maybe I critique a little bit of Brandon Tan's opinion and all, and just share mine. I have 100% respect for Brandon Tan and his videos and his content creation. This is not a hate video or anything like that. It's just a simple critique, or maybe sharing an opinion with him. I know. You have a link in the description to Brandon Tan's video as well as his channel. Okay, let's begin. About Niantic doing some decisions, I'm gonna talk about this later as we go on, but I really struggle to connect with this company, to support it. I stopped wasting money on this game since I think GoFest 2022, or yeah, I think it was GoFest. I decided I ain't gonna spend any more money on Pokemon Go. I wasn't a money whale, anything like that before I stopped. I was more like casual spender. I may spend on some tickets, I may spend on some raid passes, back to where they were not nerfed, right? And maybe some, I don't know, once per half of a year I'm gonna spend it on lure majors and I guess incubators, because those two items I don't really like the idea of them. But Niantic has been very controversial since basically day one. Decisions that Niantic made since Pokemon Go launch were almost very controversial until of course pandemia, you know, until, you know, this whole thing in the air, virus, you know. And this is where Niantic put their reputation from here to here, right? Like their reputation where it was just generally better, okay? And then after, not even after, it was like middle of the virus pandemia, you know, all this stuff were still ongoing, and they decided to pull down the, you know, bonuses that we get used to for like half of a year. And since then, the Niantic will just really go downhill greatly. Since first Heroes Niantic hashtag movement of Heroes Niantic went, since then the game really struggles. This is what I actually feel like. Maybe it's not true, maybe it's different, but I don't know, because okay, never mind. I'm gonna, you know, talk as we go on, because I don't want to hang over one moment of the video and just talk about something else. So I'm just gonna comment and share my opinion as we go. And remember, every single source of this video is in the description. I encourage you to check them out. Don't watch my video and just take it for granted. I just want you to actually set your own opinion. I'm just sharing my opinion, just like Brandon Tan here. So we're just gonna move on.
Changes, but remember, you know, Niantic is the one who actually makes the decision to make the changes. Of course, with the decision made by the upper one, Pokemon Company too. Of course, they have a say in terms of whatever that would happen in the game too.
We actually don't know what Pokemon Company can engage with Pokemon Go. Pokemon is theirs, of course, but Niantic, I think what we have for granted that this Niantic most likely is building this whole not ideal situation. And what situation I'm talking about is basically Niantic is not listening to their players, because Pokemon Company, yeah, they might as well force Niantic to do some certain things, but we don't know that. So what I think, we should blame only one side, because we don't know what the other side is doing. We can speculate, but I think we cannot just, you know, blame the other side, because it might as well be Niantic, all of their doings, looking by their layoffs. That might be actually a case that Pokemon Company has nothing to do with the decline of Pokemon Go. It's more like Niantic and their stupid agenda. But we'll see what Brandon Tan's opinion is like. I watched it like 2-3 minutes, but after that I don't really know the video. We'll see live how his opinion is handling it.
That people, they do understand, they do realize that actually having the change happen was a great option. And in fact, when I met communities, when I meet players in person, many times they'll tell me, say, hey Brandon, luckily Niantic made the change, especially the community leaders who were struggling to try to get people out for a very, very long time. When it was unlimited remote raids, people would just, say to them, send me invite.
Mixed bag right now. I have a mixed bag in my brain right now, because I guess your perspective, your general players, community or whatever, your fans might as well, feel like that. But from my experience, from person that is normal player like you, a normal person like you, this change is really limiting. And to be honest with you, this change is not actually the problem. The problem is a lack of a communication and also lack of flexibility of Niantic decisions. Because, for example, let's say I want to raid Shadow Lugia, and as you may know or not, shadow raids that are right now ongoing, you can only do local raids, and only you cannot invite player to remote raid this shadow raid or whatever. You cannot do that. You need specifically be on the spot where the raid is going on. And for example, this Lugia was for like 3 days, maybe 4. I'm not sure. I don't want to even check. This is not significant. What I'm saying is, I couldn't do any raid for Lugia, Shadow Lugia, because every single player, local player in my village where I play, dropped the game. Basically, dropped the game because of lack of time, lack of flexibility in game, and overall lackluster gameplay that is Niantic pushing players to actually, they basically force them, by saying force, it's not actually the force them, but if you don't gonna do that, you're gonna be, I don't know, something. It's not like that. It's more like the Niantic is encouraging every single player to do specific thing that maybe it's out of reach for 50, 60, 70% of players. For example, if you live in a place, like local place where there's few players, few people even, and there comes the event when you need to do shadow raids, for example, and as it turns out, for the week you couldn't play in another event because you didn't have any players within reach, within to communicate, bring yourselves together to actually play the event. And this is the big issue of Niantic's and Pokemon Go gameplay right now, because Niantic is encouraging players to, for example, raid, as I said, shadow raid, that is only can be locally raided, you cannot remote it. There's a specific people that cannot actually gather with the community because there's no community. And this is the only one topic I'm talking about. This is the shadow raid that you cannot remote, but I'm talking about different things. For example, people that have lack of time. For example, recently it's been, I think, replaced Safari City. I don't know if it's called like that, but I remember it's been recently a change with the Safari Zone events. They get actually replaced by the thing called Safari City, and the general impression and opinion about this event were very mixed, and I would even say negative in most of the part. Okay. And well, will Niantic will take the opinion and change something or something? I doubt it, because Niantic is very, very famous of just pushing their way into thing they think it's good, but they don't want to listen to any feedback, to any opinion, and this is Fnatic is almost famous to it, and this is the biggest problem. The longevity of a game, it's not because remote rates are getting nerfed, the longevity is now up for the sudden. No, it's not that. The risk of longevity of the game, the low longevity of the game, is actually not by nerfing something or adding something, doing some new features. It's a big part, but at the same time you need to remember that the biggest risk of longevity of the game is actually not listening to the players. This is what Niantic is very famous for, and what I feel like the problem with risking the game being dead in a couple of years, it's only on the Niantic side, because not listening to the players, strictly pushing them for a certain style of play, and not actually actively encouraging people to play their way, just pushing them for a certain way, it's actually very risky for longevity of the game. Simple enough. Because people actually, for example, majority of people don't want to play this way, but I think encouraging them to play this way. For example, there were some events about roots recently. I don't remember what it was called, but I think it was very lackluster, and people were just simply not playing on this event because it was so ass, unfortunately. And Niantic learned something from it now. They didn't. They just look at the numbers. It's a corporation, after all. They ain't gonna look for people. They're gonna look for numbers, and this is publicly known knowledge, right?